I'm ready to go if you are. Are you ready to go? Yes or no? Did you have a pretty good lunch? All right. Well, if you didn't, just remember you picked, chose, and decided that place. I had nothing on that. All right. So, a couple people have asked me about the 3D model. There's a question about that, but we didn't do that yet. I haven't done that yet. You said, well, it's not my book. Yeah, I know. And I bought the teacher talk book. I looked at it at lunch. He's not in there. Yeah, I know. It's going to be a bonus. Okay? Yeah, actually, when you're going to get to that. So, on page 12 is the other thing. This is the other skill that I use in every training I do. Every training I do, I use this one. I think it's that important. And so I'm going to give it to you again, some of you, and to most of you for the first time. And this is the 1 minute behavior modifier. There's a lot of behaviors I don't like. I'm not a big fan of whining. You like whining? Yes. I don't like put downs. Remember, kids are gay, stupid. I don't like that one. I don't like back talk. I'm not a big fan of excuse giving. I don't like disowning responsibility for your actions. I don't like side conversations when I'm giving directions. I don't like a kid blurting out an answer when other kids have had thinking time to come up with one themselves. I don't even like this kid right here going over and sharpening 4 pencils during quiet reading time. I mean, I got a whole bunch of behaviors out. I don't like it, but you have some too. You probably got some of the same ones I got. And maybe some different ones. Not to worry. If I got a technique for you, here it is, the 1 minute behavior modifier. Now, if you want a lot more on this particular technique, some of you have already bought my book with the big 3 on it, up there in the parenting section. There's a book with a big 3 on it. It's called The Only 3 Discipline Strategies You'll Ever Need. I'm serious about that. There's only 3. Teens 3, tots 3, home 3, school 3, on the bus 3, on the playground 3, in church 3, on the way to grandma's 3, when we get to grandma's 3. There's only 3 you ever need. Here's the good news. This is one of them. We're giving one of them right now. There's 35 pages in that book. But I'm going to give you this one. So you'll have to use it at home, you can use it at school. Because you probably got some behaviors at home that you're not real fond of too. Like teasing or whining or whatever. All right, so on page 12, and just looking at that, you can see there's 2 parts. There's a top part and a bottom part. I call it the get ready and the go do it. Or some people call it preparation and implementation. Planning, and then putting it in gear. All right, so let's plan. First thing you got to do if you're going to use this technique in school or at home is you got to pick a behavior. You got to pick one you're going to do this with. Just one. I have a friend, John Nash. He taught 7th and 8th graders in the whole high school building in Michigan. And he picked put downs. You know why he picked put downs? Because he's the hero. That's why. High school kids put each other down. So does kindergarten, 1st grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade. But in 7th and 8th grade, it's an art form. Oh, yes. It's a way of being, almost. And in 3 weeks, using this technique right here, he brought the down. Right down to there. 3 weeks, he doesn't usually take that long. And he did it in 3 weeks. Brought put downs down to practically nothing. It's with 7th and 8th graders. You can do that in 7th and 8th grade, you can do it anywhere. The 7th and 8th grade is a litmus test of put down. It's a final exam. So which one should you pick? Pick one they're doing a lot. If you're not getting a bunch of whining, don't pick that one. If you get a bunch of excuses in your classroom the first couple of weeks, pick that one. You get back there in September, you're hearing a bunch of disowning responsibility for their actions, pick that one. And home, you got a kid that's teasing a lot, pick that one. Pick one they're doing a lot. Here's the second part. Make a commitment to eliminate it. You have to commit. You have to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm sick of this. I'm absolutely tired of it. I'm up to here with it. I'm not know if I've ever done, has ever worked, John Ash said. I might as well try that weird 1 minute thing that chick taught me. I don't want to stay on it. I'm just tired. Just put down stuff. When you're really tired of coming to it, you have to persist longer than they resist. And I'm going to tell you something. They will resist. Why? Because you're changing the rules here a little bit. You're changing how you normally do things. This is very similar to an intervention. Because you're not putting up with that behavior anymore. And you're going to be doing something different about it now than we've ever done before. And some of you know this, that the ending new intervention, it often gets worse before it gets a little bit better. It does? So here's what you do. It'll get a little bit worse for you, and then it'll take off. Here's what you don't do. Oh, it's getting worse. Well, I better go back and do it the other way. Don't you go there. It's getting a little bit worse. This is good. This is just what should settle at. It's going to take off. And it will. You hang in there. You have to persist longer than they resist. Here's the third part. Give it a name. That behavior needs to have a name. You have to give it one. You think that's easy? I call it put downs. That's easy. I call it whining. Yep. It's easy for those two. And it's not all that easy for some of them. Some of them are hard to come up with a name for. Here's the criteria for the name. Two things, two criteria. It has to be descriptive and specific. Descriptive and specific. What do I mean by specific? I mean the opposite of global. You can't call it disrespectful. That's too global. I can think of 150 things that are disrespectful. So what are you talking about? Austin and Chelsea came to live with me. Austin was in 5th grade. Chelsea was in 8th grade. Their table manners, when they came to live with me, non-existent. It was pitiful. It was hard to eat with that. So I would say, Austin, that's bad manners. You would know what I'm talking about. But I had to pick one. I had to get very specific. I picked one. Because if I mentioned every single dinner, if I mentioned every single table manner I saw that was inappropriate, you would want to eat it. It would be a bad thing. I wouldn't like it. They wouldn't like it. So I picked one. I picked talking when your mouth's full of food. That's very specific. It's not global. That took us about a week. We got done with that one. We went on to using your pants as a napkin. And then we went on to another one. Eventually, we knocked most of them off the list. One at a time. But very specifically, not global. That's bad manners. That could be 100 things. So, and notice that I was descriptive. I was not evaluative. I didn't say bad manners. I just talked with your mouth. I said it was good. I said it was bad. I said, let's talk with your mouth full. I was using your pants as a napkin. You need to describe it and have it be specific. Okay. This kid over here. This kid, he goes off and sharpens 4 pencils during quiet reading time. You gotta have a name for that. What do you call that? I worked with a 3rd grade teacher, Mary Fullerweiler. Mary Fullerweiler, she had a kid who was doing that. You know what she called it? Illegal pencil sharpening. I like that name. It's got some pizzazz to it. She had a kid who was blurting out in class all the time. You know what she called it? An illegal word burst. Yeah, some pizzazz. Could she have called it blurting out in class? Yeah, she could have called that and it would have worked fine. So wherever name you pick for it, don't be switching. Don't switch horses in the middle of the stream, or however that saying goes. You got high school kids, and they're whining. You can call it verbal manipulation if you want. They call it that all the time. Don't a week later switch to whining. But wherever you start with, just keep calling it that. So you pick a name and stick with it, is what I'm saying here. And here's the last little thing down there. If you can name it, you can tame it.
I like it.
If you can name it, you can tame it. So, you're not going to have to wait very long before you start to implement. Before you do 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know how I know you're not going to have to wait very long? Because you wouldn't have picked that one if you weren't here to see it all the time. John Ash didn't have to wait very long for her to put PowerPoint out in the hall on the way into the classroom. You're going to hear whining real soon, so you're not going to have to wait too long, okay? So, when you hear it, or when you see it, the behavior you're talking about here, you give them 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this part right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the verbal skill. Here comes the verbal skill. Here comes the teacher talk piece. This is what I'm suggesting you say. This is how I recommend you say it. We've messed with a bunch of different ways to do this, and these 4, in this order, are the best way we found how to say this to students. And you say them like that. Bam, 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 bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, 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 bam. Don't pause. Don't come up for air. Don't take a breath. Usually run on sentences if you have to. It'll go for 3, 4 minutes if you have to, and you get it all done before you stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then quit. It ain't going to seem like that now. Because I'm going to do number 1, we'll talk about it. Now I'm going to do number 2, we'll talk about it. Now I'm going to do number 3, we'll talk about it. But when you say it, bam, 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 bam. One right after the other. Everybody got that? Yeah. All right, how do you say them? Yeah. You got it. That's it exactly. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to call it that. So here's the first thing you say. First thing you do is you name the person and you name the behavior. Sounds like this. Rochelle, that's whining. John Nancy said, Carlos, that's a put down. You say Brenda and Samantha, that's a side conversation. Willie, that's excuse giving. And Mundu, that's back talk. Kevin, that's disowning responsibility for your actions. Jean Paul, that's exaggeration. Name the person, name the behavior. Now we're going to do 2 and 3 and 4. But I want to take a couple things about number 1. I've observed teachers use this, I've heard them do it, I've seen it, I've watched it, I've seen videotapes of them doing it, and I'm going to tell you something. Name the person, name the behavior. That seems pretty simple. I've seen teachers screw it up right here. And if you screw up the first one, it's all screwed up. All the way down. You're going to nail this first one perfectly. Now, there's some more to warn you about here, because here's the mistake I see teachers and parents make sometimes. They do something I didn't do. And the reason I didn't do it was because it's a mistake. And I want to say it the way I'm supposed to say it. But I want you to know what that mistake is, because I want you to be careful you don't do it. Because it's the number 1 mistake I see teachers make with this bam, 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 bam. Okay. And in the first bam, you never heard me once say the word stop. You didn't hear me say, I'm going to stop now. You didn't hear that. Hey, you two, stop that side conversation. Willie, stop giving me excuses. I did not say the word stop. This is not a tell them what to do piece, that's number 1. I'm not telling them what to do. This is an identification piece. I'm identifying a person, Willie. I'm identifying a behavior, put down. Willie, that's the put down. This is a consciousness raising piece. I'm raising their consciousness. Connie, that's whining. Look, I don't know anything that whines on purpose with intentionality to get something to manipulate somebody and stay as conscious about it. Can you think of any kid that ever said, you know what? I'm going back there to Mrs. Wilson now, and I'm going to whine and see if I can get this. They don't do that. They just go up and start talking like that. They don't even know they're doing it. Charlie, that's whining. Oh, that's a put down. Oh, that's exaggeration. Oh, that's asset. Oh, they don't know what some of this stuff is. Kids don't know what a put down is today. Kids getting put down at home all the time. Everybody's laughing about it. It's funny. It's a big joke. Oh, Butterfingers, you dropped another one. You just dropped everything. You got Butterfingers. You're such a klutz. There you go, bumping into stuff again. What a klutz you are. Isn't that funny? No, it's not. Thank goodness that Roseanne show finally went off. That woman with her sarcastic mouth ripping into her kids, mocking them, putting them down, belittling them, making fun of them. The #1 rated show in this country three years in a row. And we got nerve enough to call that entertainment. You think you're not swimming upstream against this culture today? Yes, you are. The good news is you're good swimmers. You know how I know that? You're still here. You're here. Some people aren't swimming anymore, they're just floating down the river. They give up. You're here. You're good swimmers, and I'm glad you are, because these kids need you. They need good swimmers like you. Now, not to worry though, because that show's off now. Unless, of course, you got cable or DirecTV and then it's on 2 different channels. And it's still pretty popular. But not to worry, because maybe they don't have that. And then, but Fox came out with a wonderful little sarcastic cartoon, guys. Yeah, that's how I want to teach my children to talk. That's okay, though. That's kind of going away now. But we got reality TV. I like that because I want my boys to grow up and just be like a bachelor. Huh? No, I don't. So, it's an effort to make these behaviors conscious. That's gossip. Why would they know what gossip is? Parents are driving to school in the morning and talking about the people that live across the street all the way there. And they think that's the way people talk. Gossip! Gossip, by the way, is the #1 internet bullying technique today being used by the girls. And boys do it too. So that's #1. You got to make sure you get the word stop out of there. Now the second one, you got a choice. It's A or B. You see the or there? It's not A and B. I never do both. I never do both. I do one or the other. Some of them just sound better with A, and some of these behaviors sound better with B. And you get a feel for this as I go through a few of them. John Ash did that. John Ash was the put-down guy, remember? He said it's against the class rules. Willie, that's a put-down. Put-downs violate our class rules. Here's some other ways to say it. Willie, that's a put-down. Put-downs are against our class norms. You can say, Willie, that's a put-down. Put-downs go against responsible action statements that we chose to live by here that we got on the wall over there. You could say, Willie, that's a put-down. Put-downs go against our character education pillar of the month. We're working on in the whole school here, respect. Or you can say, as simply as this, Willie, that's a put-down. We don't talk to each other that way in 7th grade or in this class. It could be that simple. I say that to Austin. Austin, that's a put-down. We don't talk to each other that way in his family. I had to tell him more than once. He thought families talk like that. He thought he could talk to his sister like that. Not here. Not in this house. No. Austin, that's a put-down. We don't talk to each other that way in this home, in this family. Any of those are A. Right? I'm down to B yet. Those are all A. B works better for whining. B works better for B works better for back talk. B works better for pouting. B works better for excuse giving. B works better for some of those. B is where you simply say it doesn't work with me. I say, Becky, that's whining. Just want to let you know whining doesn't work with me. Jeffrey, that's excuse giving. I don't accept excuses. Robert, that's pouting. Pouting doesn't move me. Brenda, back talk. Back talk not only doesn't work with me, it usually ends up in more trouble than you were to begin with. Simple as that. Doesn't work with me. Now, the minute you say to a kid, whether they're at your house or in your school, in your classroom, the minute you say, Chantel, that's whining. Whining doesn't work with me. Assume this position right here. Pull your pants up. It's not. Get your feet a little bit apart, get a little bend in the knees, and gird your loins. And get ready. Because they're coming. Because they are going to check you out. Don't you think for 1 minute you're going to go in there the second week of September and say, Stephanie, that's whining doesn't work with me, and all your students are going to look at each other and say, oh boy, I guess we better not whine in there anymore. You're going to have to prove it. I'll prove it. I'm willing to prove it to you. Because whining doesn't work with me. Now, if you let somebody move you with whining, you tell them to whine. If you let somebody move you with anger, you tell them to be mad. If you let somebody move you with tears, you tell them to cry. If you let somebody move you with excuses, you tell them to come up with good excuses. If you let somebody move you with pouting, you tell them to sit there and stonewall you. I'm not teaching those lessons. I'm teaching the opposite. They don't work with me. Now, I think you can see right away why some of them are A and some of them are B. John Angelo never have said, Rebecca, that's all put down, don't work with me. Yeah. See, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit for that one. What fits for that one is we don't talk to each other that way in 7th grade. Well, that's against our class rules, so whatever. So, I said, when you go, mess with this summer. Mess with this with your own kids, your sister's kid. Play with it a little bit this summer. If you're doing any coaching, use it there. Now, if, however, you got to wait till September when you don't have any kids at home anymore, then give it a couple weeks. Wait a couple weeks and then see what behavior they're doing a lot, and then pick one. Pick one and play it through A and play it through B. One will sound better, the other one won't sound right. Go with the one that sounds right. You'll be able to figure that out pretty easily. Here's number 3. Give them a reason. Give them a reason. This piece right here always begins with the same word. Because. John Ash said, Austin, that's a put down. We don't use put downs in 7th grade because people often get their feelings hurt and they lead to physical violence. Charmaine, that's excuse giving. I don't accept excuses because if I did, I'd teach you to come up with good excuses rather than get your work done. I don't do that. I say, oh wait, that's whining. Whining doesn't work with me because it hurts my ears. And I can't tell for sure what you're even saying anyways. I can't make it out for sure. You gotta have a real reason. Because I said so, that's not a real reason. Because I said so, that's a bully. That's bully behavior. Big me, little you, because I said so, that's why. And none of us say because it's a rule. You gotta have a better reason than that. Everybody in this room, most of us, most of the time, stop at stop signs. Now, most of us, most of the time, stop at stop signs. Why? It's the law. No, that's not why. Why isn't the law? Because if we don't take turns at stop places like that, cars get smashed, people get smashed, people get hurt. It's dangerous. We're going to have a system to make sure nobody has a health and safety issue. That's why we don't run in school. Why don't we run in school? It's a safety issue. Somebody's coming down the hall and you were running, bang, their books go flying, their teeth are laying in the hall. It's a safety issue. You gotta have a real reason. If you can't come up with a real reason, then why do you have them do it? You don't have a reason. back on in a minute. You know what I'm going to do right now? Here's the first word. Teach. I'm going to teach now. Now look, I do a lot of those back to school things. I do a lot of August pre-service days, I've got in-service day before all the kids come. I do a lot of them. Maybe some of you will be able to get me to come to your school also. I'd love to share this stuff with your whole staff. If we could get more people talking about this stuff like this together, and things happen faster, obviously, because there's more consistency. Anyway, I'm doing one of these back to school things a couple of years ago, and it's like it's in August. It was the middle of August, but it was in Texas, and they start soon. All right? So I'm doing this thing in Texas, and I have a high school staff. There was about 35 teachers. And only high school people. I get to this part, and I say, teach. And this young man stands up. He must have been maybe a second, he was probably in a second or third year. He's a young guy. He stood up and he said, what do you mean teach? I said, well, you know, teach. He said, no, I don't know what you mean by teach. Well, instruction. I want to give some instruction now. He said, I don't want to hear about instruction. I want to know when you're going to discipline these kids. You told us there's only 3 disciplines. If you wave that book with the 3 on it in front of our faces and said, you only need 3, tops to teens, and all that stuff. I want to know when the punishment comes. I'm tired of the teaching part. When are you going to punish them? I said, whoa, back off. Back off. I said, I got an assignment for you tonight. I want you to go home. I want you to look up, I want you to get a dictionary and look up the word discipline so you can find there. I said, you know what? I've already done that, so I'll save you some time. I'll tell you what you're going to find. First thing you're going to notice is the root word of discipline is disciple. And if you take that back to its roots, in Latin it's disciple, and it means teacher or learner. I said the main foundation block, the building block of any effective discipline system is teaching first. And if you jump over that, you screwed up. I said, I see parents do that all the time. Little kid does something wrong, boom, you discipline. I mean, never taking the time to teach them what they really want. You just discipline them. I said, I'll do consequences. I'm going to do consequences with you in a minute. I got a whole big section on holding kids accountable. I'm absolutely, totally for that. And you know what? I'm never going to call it punishment, ever. I'm not a warden, I'm an educator. And that's what I'm going to do. We got too much in our business that sounds like jail to me. The high schools in Michigan, most of them, you get in trouble in school, you go to ISS. You know what ISS is? In-school suspension. In middle school, we call it detention. That's it, you got a detention. We are professional educators. Every one of us in this room. Professional educators, well-trained, years of service and learning from each other, and coming to these kind of things. And the best names we can think of for that place has got detention and suspension in it. What? You know what? That we call that suspension and detention says more about us than it says about the kids that are sitting in there. Change the name. Change the name to responsibility room. Change the name to reflection room. Change the name. Start there. Change the name. Change how you start thinking about it. Change how you start thinking about what I'm going to. Change what you believe about it. Change what you believe about it. Start changing what you do there. Where we go and we learn responsibility. We create a plan. We're going to do it. It's got to work. So we break it. Because we're learning about responsibility. Attention. Are you kidding me? For young people, I said, no, look, I'm going to get the consequences. I want to hold kids accountable unequivocally, totally. I want them to hold accountable. And I'm not going to do it with punishment. I'm never going to call it that. And we're going there. But I am not going there until I teach and teach and teach and teach and teach and teach. Then maybe I'll go there. Maybe not. I might have to. I'll go there. I'm not afraid to go there. I don't want you to be afraid to go there either. But I'm teaching first and probably second and third and fourth and fifth. Here's what you teach. Teach, right, right small in the morning. Teach the new appropriate replacement behavior. Teach them something to do instead of that you can live with. Here's what John Hayes said. Connie, that's a put down. We don't use put downs in 7th grade because people can get to feelings hurt, they do physical violence. What we do here, when we're upset like that, is we tell the other person what we'd like to have happen and how we're feeling. We say to the whole class. So here's the situation. You write down now on this paper what you would be feeling and what you would like to have happen. He did it with the whole class. Why? Because they were all putting each other down. They wanted everybody to learn it. And I don't care if it was 1 minute, and they say, let me hear someone. Let me hear. Go ahead, let me hear one, let me hear another one, let me hear. Okay. So what's yours, Connie? Yeah, okay, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's it, right there. You got it, you did. Thank you. And now I don't care if it was 1 minute, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 second. Later, he hear another one. Brenda, that's put down. When we use put down in 7th grade, people get their feelings hurt, they'll lead to physical violence. You know what we do here? We're upset with somebody like that. Here's the school we use. We tell people how we're feeling and what we like to have happen. Let's all do that again. Here's the situation. I'm here. Thank you. Hey, what's yours? Yeah, you got it. You know what? And I tweak this a little bit. You can make it even a little stronger if you did this go. You're on the right track. There you go. Give me 5 out of you, Jack. You got it? I'm teaching. That's what I'm doing. Look, I don't care whether it's 4th grade, 14, 4th hour, I don't care. They do behavior, you can stop it. They do this behavior, you can stop it. They do behavior, you can stop it. They do behavior, you can stop it. If you don't teach them some new appropriate behavior, they're going back there like a bungee cord. Boing, 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 boing. That's all they know. It's their comfort zone. It's their at-home feeling. They're going back there. Unless you teach them something different. And if you want a new behavior, you have to teach a new behavior. You're not going to get it by hoping and wishing. You've got to teach it. If you're not willing to take the time to teach it, then stop complaining about it because you don't get it both ways. Now, we're going to move the consequences on the next page in a minute. But before we do that, before we go there, I want you to take your packet in your hand. And when I get the signal, remember what the signal is? Okay, let's go. Right? Okay. When I get the signal, I want you to stand up. I want you to walk a little bit away and then not pick somebody next to you. I want you to find somebody that is not the same person you picked this morning. I want you to find a different person and just get with them. And when I see everybody's got a partner, then I'll tell you what to do, because you don't know what to do yet, because I haven't told you, other than find a partner. Okay, let's go. Go find a partner.